So I was just thinking, there's so much stuff going on in the news. Like, the media's got people here, you know, constantly fighting and obsessed over things that don't really matter, but I don't know, it creates ratings for them and sparks controversy because people arguing on social media threads. Anyway, but here's the deal, and I will put out the disclaimer, but then people will go into the whole, okay, you know, you're transphobic and all that, and it's so annoying, but I'll let it go. I'll tell you a story. I used to work for this store called Tall Girl back in the early 2000s, I guess, 2006 to 2010. Somebody called up, and it was a man, and he asked if I would be uncomfortable if he were to come in and shop for himself and try some stuff on. And I said, go ahead, come on in, I'll help you out. So that was my heart back then, right? And it remains that way today. And we ended up doing like fashion shows for I guess drag queens, you could call them. They were men. They liked to wear women's clothes. Some were married to women. Everyone had a different story. Some passed off as like females, and like you just kind of saw them as a woman. So I literally have no hate in my heart whatsoever towards people that want to do that, like, or feel like they have a different gender, right? That they somehow were born into the wrong body and the hormonal imbalance, whatever it is. So with that being said, I am not transphobic, and it's annoying. It's just really annoying to see all these people yakking on social media, and they can just fight with you because they're behind a computer screen. And but what I do have to say is there comes a point where it crosses a line, and the trans male to females in women's sports, I think, is objectively wrong. Like, it's just horrific in my opinion. And you cannot change biology. You can't just be like, that's a real woman. That person may feel and identify and represent what a woman is, and may have surgeries and then live their life out as a woman, and maybe the world even perceives them as such and doesn't even know they transitioned, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, I still stand against trans in female sports, trans male to, I mean, period. I mean, I'm sure you could say the same. I mean, I don't know how women to men, but whatever. As far as male to female trans people, it is so wrong to see somebody like that swimmer that still has their thing that starts with a P, you know, over 6 feet tall, towering over these, you know, 5'5", 5'6", whatever height woman. I mean, I'm 5'11", but it's like they're going and changing in a woman's locker room and making the women uncomfortable, and then taking the trophy from the woman. Even Caitlyn Jenner speaks out against that, but the majority of the population agrees with me on this one. So why is it still happening? Who's allowing this to happen? Who is saying we need to become so tolerant that this poor person needs to be able to live in society and as a woman, and they get to compete and get a trophy, and it's insanity. It's insanity. Okay? It's absolutely absurd. And I don't understand why people are so scared to like speak up against it, you know, for fear of being called transphobic and, you know, and hateful. And it's not. It's just there's biological things that go on in a biological born male's body where they develop more strength and muscle mass, and this person has competed against men, and now they can just steal trophies from women. So, and that's just like, I'm over that, okay? Completely over it, and the majority of the world agrees with me, so I would think the majority should speak on this, and more people need to stand up. I mean, again, it's like, you know, you're so against blackface. If I really truly felt like I was black and I was born black and I started, like, you know how they do the operations to become a woman? Okay, I'll start darkening my skin, making my hair, you know, like an afro, all of that, okay? And then I will say, I'm black. And then you have to accept me as such. And then we'll go even further. I can say I know what it's like to be black in America, you know? And like, that's what these like males are doing. They're presenting as women, saying that that's what they are and they know what it's like. And some of them are going as far as to saying like that they're going to get their period, and the whole thing makes absolutely no sense, and people need to be vocal about it and have a real talk without spewing a bunch of hate back and forth. Like, we just need to sit down and have a real heart-to-heart discussion about these things, because I know if I painted my face dark brown and walked around saying I identify as a black person and I know what it's like to be black in America, and all these people would be screaming at me saying, you know, you have white privilege, you've never existed as a black person in America. So if you try to think of the women, how they must feel about a man trying to say that he now, because of physicality, now he's a woman, how does that make women feel? Do you understand what I'm saying? Anyway, I gotta run, but this is my 2 cents today.